So the shroud, I pulled it. You have to pull it pull a little hard on it in the edges from right here. Gotta pull on the edge. So this will give you an idea what it looks like. So when you're pulling it, you see there's nothing really. Once the screw, so we're looking at the passenger side right now. Once the screw is removed, which gets fastened in here, so those are the clips that holds your shroud, as well as some clips, metal clips right here. That's where the shroud, the bumper gets mounted on. So you can just pull that out. Needs a little bit of a, just do a little hard pulling, and then you'll get the shroud out. Probably use two people, one on each side, so you don't damage your shroud when you pull it. As you can see, that's what it looks like. And once you remove the shroud, it drops. There is a connector for your fog lights at the bottom, so make sure you don't pull too hard. Once it's dropped, it's long enough that it will go on the ground, so you can remove your connector. So simply press those two clips here and then pull down to get it out. All right, so here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 I guess fastened little holes. That's where the bumper is fastened to at the bottom. So you'll have to remove 7 of those plastic screws. Remove, let's move that out of the way a little bit. So here, radiator, I removed this, shroud. Right now it's put back on because the work's done, but so this shroud will be removed, and there are 4 screws for the radiator. One here, 4 bolts rather, one here, and another 2 on this side. Those 2 bolts will have to be there. Show with some light. There you go. 2 bolts here and 2 bolts there. Those will be removed. And inside the engine compartment, we'll remove these hoses. This is of course you will have to drain your coolant. So something that I should have mentioned, actually, yeah, it's a good time to mention it. You need to drain your coolant. To do that, alright, so you'll have to drain the radiator fluid. So there's a plug by going to the bottom right hand side, basically your passenger side of your radiator. At the very bottom there's a little white plastic plugs. You unscrew that to drain your radiator fluid. Once that is done, you want to come up and remove this hose, because you don't have enough space between here and there to remove the alternator. So these things have to be removed. So remove this hose by getting the clamp. Once you have by removing a clamp that is on this side here, hose clamp. There's another hose clamp over here. If you, probably better to remove it and then just get it out of the way altogether. And then on this side, you will also need to remove this clamp right here, and so those 2, you could remove those 2 as well. So now I suggest that you put a plastic cap over them and try to keep them straight up. Maybe use some tie wraps and tie them up so that you don't whatever fluid that's in here, it looks like perhaps might have been a little bit of transmission fluid. You don't want it to drop, so you want to tie this up maybe on here temporarily until you get the so you can move the radiator. So after all these have been done, you will have access, you will be able to push the radiator so that you can more so on this side, so we can have access to the alternator. Another thing that you may want to remove is those plastic shrouds. So this one here, it's got a broken clip, but essentially you just have to pull on it just like that and get it out. So there's two clips. Once you get it out, it'll be easier for your radiator to actually move forward. This hose, this piping is flexible enough so that you can move the radiator, but if you don't want to damage anything, there are a couple screws right here, bolts rather, right here, one here and one there, one there. So you can move that. That'll give you a little more play to move your radiator forward, at least on the right hand side, so that you can, once you get access to your alternator, you'll be able to, you'll have enough space to move the alternator. And one more thing I need to add, the fan that you're seeing here, there are two screws, one right up there. It's a 10mm bolt, sorry, not a screw.